We all love drum compression. Drum compression is nice. But you know what? More drum compression is more nicer. And extreme drum compression is even much more nicer, you know? So I really love to saturate and mangle my drum bus with extreme compression. And today I want to show you how I do this, and I want to show you my 4 favorite drum compressor plugins that I use all the time for sonic destruction on my drum bus. If you want to learn how to add a little attitude, a little dirt to your drums, this might be your video. Let's get started. Let's destroy some things. My main drum bus compressor is over here. This is a hardware compressor. I've got one in this room and I've got one in my main control room. This is a custom built Ssl type compressor that has been built for me. It even has a Kohler logo on it. It's from Custom Audio Germany. If you're interested, I'll add a link. That guy, Steffen Müller, is really cool, and he built some really great sounding, very reliable, and very sexy looking gear. So I'm mainly using this compressor on my drums. I just did a 45-minute course for my upcoming academy where I show how to use an SSL style compressor on a rock or metal drum bus, the different settings and all the details. But that is more about a standard, more gentle compression. Today, in this video, I want to talk about destruction, sonic destruction. So sometimes when you need a little more, when you want to go over the top, you need something more extreme than, let's say, an SSL compressor or even an 1176. And the good news is there are some really cool plugins out there that do exactly this, and they're all not expensive. I'm pretty sure you've heard about some of them and haven't heard about others, so I'm going to show you 4 of them. They're all pretty affordable. There are links below to all those plugins, and they're easy to dial in, pretty idiot-proof. And I want to show you how to use them in a way that they sound extreme yet usable, you know? We're not talking about extreme distortion effects or something here. I just, want to show you how to add a little pumping, a little attitude, a little grit to your drum bus. So let's start mangling our drum bus. Here we go. So what we got here is a totally rough drum recording that I did a few weeks ago. Let's have a listen. Sounds pretty good, but maybe a little boring. This is the master bus, and we've got an instance of Pro L2, so a brick wall limiter. I'm just adding this so we don't get any overs, and I'm adding this to show you the dynamics so we understand a little better what's going on when we add the compression. Okay, what kind of classic extreme compressors do we have in the analog world? First of all, there is the Shure level-loc. So I think that is a design from the 60s or 70s, and I think it was designed to be used on PA systems or disco systems, so it would knock down the volume whenever the DJ or the front of house engineer would be cranking the volume too loud. It's a very brutal sounding compressor, which was not intended to be used like this, but of course people found out it sounds cool on drums. And my favorite version, plugin version of this compressor is, of course, the devil-loc Deluxe by Soundtoys, because it has both compression, called crush, and distortion, called crunch. And even if you put them both to 0, it already sounds pretty smashed. Let's have a listen. Very extreme, so you just need a little bit of both. You can go crazy with the distortions. I usually go for a little more compression and a little less distortion, setting like this on 2 and 1. And then you can use the mix knob, which will blend the dry signal with the compressed signal to find the right balance. Let's see. So even with gentle settings, this compressor adds a lot of attitude. It always has a slight pumping effect, and it just makes drums sound huge. Let's have another listen. It really brings up all the details from the back. You can hear the room a little more. It just sounds great. And you know, very easy to dial in. And of course, you can go a lot more extreme with this. But today I'm looking for settings that are actually usable. So this was the Sound Toys devil-loc. Get it? It's cool. Let's move on. Another real classic in the analog world is the Ssl Listen Mic Compressor. And that was a compressor that used to be built in the SSL consoles. And it wasn't intended to be recorded. The intention was that you put it on the talkback microphone of the musicians. You know, because musicians in the live room, if they are armed with, let's say, a drum set, they will constantly switch between talking and playing, which will shoot you deaf in no time when you're talking to them as an engineer in the control room. I've been there a million times, so you have to ride the volume all the time. So they came up with the idea of that very extreme sounding compressor again that would knock down the volume whenever the stupid drummer would go like, I want to play this, bam, 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 you know, just to avoid shooting people like me deaf. Same story again. Someone, wasn't it Phil Collins? Found out it actually sounds amazing on drums or on room microphones. There are different versions out there. The one I use is the Talkback Limiter from Kornav. And you've seen it quite a lot on this channel. I like it because it actually sounds pretty clean. You can go dirty with it, but it actually sounds pretty clean and it's very fast. It's cleaner sounding than the devil-loc and it can be just a little more subtle. So let's have a listen. I just try to find a setting where the needle goes back to 0 from time to time. Nice. And you can also add distortion with this compressor. I have to open up it here. I don't know how to do it in the other interface, like this. But I don't want to do that today. If you want it to be even more clean, there's a low pass filter. It's set to 15K, so you can remove it or make the compressor sound darker. But 15K is not a bad setting. You know, you don't need those very highs on the compressed signal with, you know, mainly cymbals. So I'll just leave it there and go back to the standard interface here. And what I will do now is the same thing again. I will blend the signals. I will blend dry and wet. Let's have a listen. And this compressor just glues things together in a very, very subtle way. Have a listen to all the softer hits get more audible and how the room just naturally is a little more present. Yeah, it just sounds out of control without the compression once you listen to it for a while. Don't forget, we are adding 20 dB or even more of compression in parallel. So this is very extreme, yet very usable. But let's move on. Another favorite of mine is this one, the Ssl Parallel Particles. And I don't even know what this is doing, but it seems to be some kind of parallel extreme compression or some kind of exciter as well. I don't know, but it can be used like a compressor. I'll show you how to do it. Just crank this one, the thick knob and the bite knob. Have a listen. Just make sure not to touch this one. I don't like it. Listen. And now the cool thing is the output and input faders are linked like this, you know. So if you bring down the output, you will boost the input. And just look at Pro L now, how extreme that effect is. And it sounds so good. There's a lot of attitude to it there. It really reduces the dynamics, squeezes things into place. I just like that. Like this, it's a little less extreme. Yeah, attitude. I think this thing is $29 or something. Get it. Link below. Really cool. You can also unlink, you know, those two like input and output and use it traditionally. But this is another idiot-proof way of adding attitude and adding character to your drums. And you know what? I didn't even try to find out what this is doing. I'm just using my ears. It sounds cool. I don't care. So that is the Ssl Parallel Particles thingy from Waves. Okay, let's move on. So here is one plugin that I've recently discovered, and I really fell in love with it because you can do a lot of cool things with it. And I'm pretty sure most people in the rock and metal world don't know about this plugin. It is called Parallel Aggressor, and it is from Baby Audio. I think Baby Audio are not that known in the rock and metal world, more used by electronic music producers, DJs, whatever. But I really love the concept of this plugin because you see, you've got three faders. In the middle, we got the dry fader, and this is our unprocessed drum sound. And then on the left, we got one processor called Spank. This is an extreme compressor. And on the right side, we got another processor called Heat, and that is some kind of overdrive saturation. Let's bring down those two, or just put this one on solo, and let's have a listen to the compressor first. So that is very grabby and immediately more attack than any of the other compressors I've been showing you. And you can even add more attack by clicking the extra punch button. So this seems to affect the attack and release time somehow, so it only lets the attack through, and then it really, reduces the dynamics. I like it. Then we have extra smack, which sounds like a higher ratio. And we got, very important, a low cut for the compressor. That is always helpful. And we got a mono button. I don't need that. I hate mono. So if you blend that signal with the dry signal, I'm already sure we will get a lot of very sexy sounding punch and attack. Let's do that. By the way, such a cool feature. We got an auto gain feature. So no matter what you do, the volume stays the same. So you're not fooling yourself. Dry signal. Listen to the attack. And of course, this can be blended, you know. You can add more or less, and the volume stays the same. That is so nice. Anyway, let's talk about this one. Solo it for a moment. The heat. This is a overdrive saturation processor. Of course, like this, it sounds like distorted farts. But the cool thing is Baby Audio added filters. So there's a low cut that removes the bass before the distortion. And a high cut that makes it sound a little more like going through a guitar speaker, makes it sound warmer, and reduces the amount of cymbals. And now we just have to reduce the gain until the kick stops farting. I would love, hello Baby Audio, I would love to be able to adjust those filters. You know, they're just fixed. Or can I do that somehow? I don't know. Because, you know, or at least I want to have 3 settings or something. Nice. Then there's another knob called Tone, and that seems to boost the mids. Okay, so let's go back to our old mix and add more heat. And remember, the volume stays the same. Now you see, depending on my settings, this one can go from very subtle to a lot more extreme. Very nice. But let's just compare all our 4 plugins now. Start with devil-loc. Lots of attitude. Now, Talkback Limiter. Cleaner and more controlled, yet very effective. The Shep's parallel thingy. A lot of fun. And finally, the Baby Audio parallel Aggressor. Nice. And I think there was one preset called, what was it? Some kind of drum lo-fi loop, this one here. So you can go from here to like the main preset, which is called Just Put It on Your Drum Bus. Which just glues things together a little more. So this thing is very versatile. So you can use it as a normal compressor, like a VCA compressor, SSL or something, just to add some smack and to add some attack and to glue things together. But you can go more extreme. I think this one is also like $30 or something. So you better grab them all. Whatever. Those are my 4 go-to compressors whenever I need something more extreme. Now you let me know which ones you prefer, what you are using. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff out there that I haven't even heard of. I like destroying things, so help me to find something new. All right, so you'll find the links to all those compressors below. Go get them all and have fun with them. And I want you to subscribe to this channel, okay? Subscribe to this channel, ring the bell, that really helps me. And I want you to subscribe to my email list. Another link below, my email list, you know, where you will get a lot of free stuff. Samples and IRs and shit like that. So you will get all the information about new videos and courses and stuff like that and products. And you can join the Discord server and talk to me and talk to other people there. All right, I gotta move on. I will mix this song now. I haven't decided what I'm gonna use, but I think I need some extreme compression here. All right, so there's work to do, boys and girls. I see you in hell, motherfuckers. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.